What's going on, guys, and welcome to the next Crack-a-Pack episode. Today we're opening up a pack of Kaladesh. Actually a pretty awesome set, a lot of really good lands, things like that. And of course at the very top, Chandra, Torch of Defiance, one of my favorite Chandras actually. So we'll see what we get in terms of value, but of course we're going to go through this as if it is a pack one, pick one scenario. So we will actually determine what our first pick would be if we were drafting from this set. With that, of course, we will go through every single card, so we'll talk about each one a little bit and see which would be the best for us. I will go ahead and put a disclaimer out. I am not the best drafter, so I'll do the best I can, but definitely if you disagree or if you have a different opinion than mine, go ahead and put it in the comment section below. I'm happy to hear it and talk about it. So our first common here, we have a Dakara Scavenger. A 4/6 for 6. When it enters the battlefield, you may put target artifact or creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. This actually seems like okay in a black deck. It seems like kind of filler. The recursion's actually kind of nice because if they get rid of your bomb, they remove it somehow, you're able to pull it back with this. And not to mention, it is a 4/6. It's not super strong for a 6-drop in terms of its actual stats. But it'll live through a good bit of burn, so it's not like red decks are going to be able to just kill it on the spot, at least very easily. And it does bring something back for you. So for that reason, I don't hate this card, though I don't think I'd want to first pick that. Acrobatic Maneuver is 2 and a white for an instant. Exile target creature you control. Then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. You can also draw a card. Obviously, this is to exploit a blink effect, and in fact, you could technically exploit the Scavenger if you wanted, but I generally don't like cards like this. Again, it's reliant on another card to be good, which is something I talk about pretty often. I just don't really like that. It does draw you a card, which is nice, so if you really had to, I guess you could play it on any creature and just be able to bounce stuff, but like, it just doesn't seem great. You can save something from combat, but it just does not seem good to me. Workshop Assistant is a 1/2 for 3. When it dies, return another target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. This is filler. I don't really like this for 3. It's a 1/2, which is very, very bad. And yeah, it has some recursion to it, but it's not like the Scavenger in terms of sticking around very long. It's going to be very easy to trade off, and just in most cases, this will probably just be a chump blocker. So don't really like that. Vidalcan Blade Master. A 2/3 for 3 with Prowess, so whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. This is like okay in a blue deck. If you happen to be counter heavy or something like that, this is a perfectly reasonable pick. It's definitely kind of a filler card, but it will have its uses, obviously. I will say in limited, as we've talked about before, I tend not to like Prowess as much. It's really much more of a constructed kind of thing, and the reason I say that is because a lot of times your spell count is somewhere between like 6 to 8 spells in a limited, like an actual draft deck. Sealed sometimes a little bit more, but draft you kind of want to keep that fairly low and be able to have a lot more board presence. And for that reason, cards like this don't seem all that great, so don't really like that. Hund Operative, excuse me. Or Hund Operative, I might be mispronouncing it. It is a 2/2 for 2, so already starting off pretty good. As long as you control an artifact, it gets +1/+0 and has Death Touch. So far, this is the most exciting card in my opinion. 2/2 for 2 is going to be fine no matter what, and being able to get it a little bit more power and Death Touch is huge. Death Touch is great in limited, so for that reason, I actually really like that. Inspired Charge is a pretty classic card. It's 2 and 2 white. For an instant, creatures you control get +2/+1 until end of turn. There are definitely decks that will want this. Any go wide strategy, token strategy, which there are a lot of, I believe they're Thopters and Constructs and things like that in this set. They will all enjoy one of these maybe, but it definitely depends. I don't like first picking it by any means. Cow Prowler is a 6/6 for 6. It's perfectly fine. I like this card. It's not amazing by any means, but it's on curve. And it's going to be able to finish out the game if you really need to. Do not like it more than the Operative, I will say. Self-Assembler, a 4/4 for 5. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an Assembly Worker creature card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library. This actually seems pretty good. I don't know exactly if it's better than the Operative or not, but I will put it to the side for now. I do like that. Salivating Gremlins is a 2/3 for 3. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, it gets +2/+0 and gains trample until end of turn. This is actually really good. Artifacts were pretty rampant in Kaladesh. It was definitely a big theme. And for that reason, you'll probably have a few in your deck and be able to trigger this. And at worst, it's a 2/3 for 3, which is not great, admittedly, but you'll probably be able to push through a little extra damage with this. I don't think I like it better than the other two cards, at least for now. Willy Bandar is a 1/1 for 1 green. You can pay 2 and a green, and it gains indestructible until end of turn. This is just kind of filler in my opinion. It's a mana sink, which is fine, but it's not like you can use this multiple times to any real effect, so I don't really like it. It's just kind of bad, I think. Our first uncommon is Engineered Might. It is a sorcery for 5, 3, a green, and a white, and you get to choose one. So target creature gets +5/+5 and gains trample until end of turn, or creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain vigilance until end of turn. So again, in a go-wide strategy, this is great. And technically, it's also pretty good if you only have one beefy creature. But I tend not to really like cards like this. It's a little bit high-costed for a sorcery like this. Yes, it's a game-winning card, potentially, but you're reliant on your creatures very, very heavily. I don't think this is a bad card, but I would not first pick it. I would be in the deck already before I would want to pick that. Durable Handicraft is a enchantment for 2. When a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. You can also pay 5 in green and sacrifice it to put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Weirdly, I kind of like this card. I generally don't like enchantments like this, but it's an engine, and it's going to buff every creature that subsequently comes out if you want it to, and if you can pay for it. So I kind of like that card. I'm not sure if it's good yet or not, though. Brazen Scorch is a 3/3 for 3 with haste. This is a perfect red card. It's great. It gets in for 3 the turn it comes into play, so I do like that. Definitely consideration. Okay, well, our rare is Torrential Gearhulk. So a 5/6 for 6 with flash. When it enters the battlefield, you may cast target instant card from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If that card would be put into a graveyard this turn, exile it instead. This is definitely the pick. This card is amazing, and yes, you might be a little bit low on instants and sorceries. It is still worth it to play anything for free. It's also just a 5/6 that you can flash in. And for 6, it's close to on curve, so I really like that. That is definitely going to be my pick. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Of course, if you disagree, please let me know in the comment section below. But with that, I'm going to get out of here. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next Crack-A-Pack video.